'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even the field of 68 after dark. What's going on? My name is Rob Dauster. I got Randolph Childress with me. I got Terrence Oglesby with me, and we are going to be giving you the Christmas wish lists for your favorite teams, for 12 of the best teams in the country. Well, they're not all the best teams. There's some teams that certainly need a present under the tree from old Santa Claus, old St. Nick. We're going to be rolling through 12 teams, what they need, what they should be asking for, what they should be wishing for here on this Christmas Eve. So without further ado, we're going to dive into it head first, guys. Randolph, I'm going to you first on this one, man. The Purdue Boilermakers. Randolph Childress, we are going to Purdue. What does Matt Painter want to see under his tree when he wakes up on Christmas morning?
He has everything, so we can't give him a position like a certain position, like a power forward, a stretch forward, whatever the hell he wants. He got the most dominant player. So what he needs is motivation. So I suggest we put under his tree a way for him to motivate his players, that he and his staff grow beards, and they can't shave until they win the Natty. So they get the Phoenix and they come. Let his players come. If they win it, they get to shave them or something like that. They need motivation. They're about to cruise through the Big Ten. They'll be challenged a couple of games. So Matt Painter needs motivation. I think it's like a no-shave November. I think he doesn't shave for the rest of the season until they get to Phoenix.
Is that a present?
The motivation for winning a national title.
You need a motivation.
Is that a present? You're just going to take. So, dude, you're not Santa Claus. You're the Grinch. You're taking away my man's stuff. You're taking away his razor.
Yes, it's time for that. Sometimes you got to be that way. It's easy. They're going to cruise through the Big Ten. Like, stop this. They're going to cruise through the Big Ten. Stop this.
He gets put.
He's got to motivate.
North Carolina Hall of Fame. He gets put in the North Carolina Hall of Fame, and all of a sudden he feel like he can just steal people's razors. It's wild. That's wild. Hey, I'm getting him some hyper ice. I'm getting all those things because the only thing that holds this team back is if injuries occur. That's it. They're that good. And I would like, on a more serious note, to get some more consistency out of Fletcher Lawyer. I can't put that in a certain thing. Maybe it's mama's oatmeal. I don't know what it is, but he needs some consistency because the rest of that team, you know what their constants are. They need a little consistency from Fletcher Lawyer. So put a little extra sweetness in his oatmeal in the morning, and maybe he can play well and have those 20-point games with more consistency as opposed to going for 27 and then going for 4 and then going for 27 and then going for 8 and things like that. So give my man some consistency. Give Purdue all the equipment as far as staying injury-free as you can find, because that's the only thing I see holding this team back, especially in a Big Ten that's very ho-hum.
I was going to say give them a little HGH as well. Something to kind of strengthen them.
That's illegal, though. That's illegal, though, Rob. You know what would help Purdue? A little crack. A little just sprinkle it. That's what Rob's saying right now. That's what Rob's saying. That's unreal.
Sprinkle a little crack on
This is a wild Christmas. This is a wild Christmas already.
At least I'm trying to keep my guys.
RC's stealing stuff from people's tree, and Rob's trying to drug them. This is crazy. I'm asking for a little extra sugar in somebody's oatmeal, and Randolph's plotting to theft, and Rob's over here freaking drugging them up. This is crazy. How do we get motivated like this so quickly?
On a serious note, I do think that you are right, T.O., in that getting Braden Smith and Fletcher Lawyer to be as close as possible to what they were on Saturday last Saturday against Arizona is the key to finding a way for Purdue to win a national title. The other part of it, I think it's up here. So I think what Matt Painter should be wishing for is, do you guys remember the movie Men in Black with Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones? You guys remember that? You know how they used to walk around with those little Will Smith would have that little thing in his hand that kind of looked like a flashlight, and he hit the button and it just erased everything from their memory. You get the light flash in your eye and you can't remember anything that happens. It's just like you woke up from a blackout, right? That's called? What Purdue needs. I don't remember what it was called. I just know what it is. And I think the biggest hindrance to Purdue making a run in the NCAA tournament this year is the fact that they're going to get that little old lemon booty, right? They're going to start to pucker up a little bit. They're going to start to get a little nervous. You're down by 5 early on in the game. Oh, no, is this happening again? You're down by 2 with 2 minutes left. Oh, I can't believe we're about to blow this again. I can't believe we're about to get upset. That's what they need. They need to forget about everything that happened.
Get him the neuralizer. It was a neuralizer.
Is that what it's called? The neuralizer? Yeah,
His
Neuralizer.
kids
They need
must have
that.
told him. He must have said something to one of his son or something. His son told him what it was.
Nah, that's definitely what he probably Googled it. Is what he did over there.
Yeah,
100% Googled it. 100%. You can actually buy one on Amazon.
No, I think the biggest hindrance to Purdue making a run is going to be it's going to be in their head. And I think it was in their head last year. I think it was in Virginia's head when they lost to a 16 seed. And I think when they came out the next season, if you guys remember in that first round against Gardner-Webb, they were down by 14 at one point. So being able to get over the mental hump, I think, is going to be as important as anything else for Purdue when it comes to winning a national title. Team number 2 on the list, the Yukon Huskies. My Yukon Huskies, if you will. I'm going to go first on this one, guys, because I think that the key for UConn, and I actually went a little bit closer to serious on this one than anything else, but the key for UConn is going to be making open shots. I think it's just that simple. Andrew Weatherman, who used to be a Duke graduate assistant, who used to be one of the managers that would sprint on the floor and sprint off the floor every time that there was a timeout. I know you guys know exactly who I'm talking about.
Love those guys.
He's run the numbers, and UConn generates 15 open or unguarded spot-up jump shots per game, which is more than anybody else in college basketball at the high major level. And UConn, on those open shots, ranks 206 nationally at 1.07 points per shot that they make. You got to be better than that. You got to make those shots when you're open. They need guys like Alex Caravan and Cam Spencer and Solo Ball and even a Steph Castle to be able to make the open looks, to create the space that you need for guys to be able to beat people off the bounce, and for the big fella, Donovan Kling and the Great Wall of Bristol, to be able to be as effective as he is in the paint. The crazy part is that UConn is not shooting all that well from the perimeter with some of these open jump shots, and they're still like a top 5 offense in college basketball at this point in the season. So, Terrence, we'll go to you next on this one. Yep, 45.9, something like that at this point.
It is. It's 45.9. Get them a time machine, because I want some of those younger guys to get more comfortable quickly. And we're going full back to the future. We're fast forwarding to the future and then trying to bring them back to where we're at right now, right before conference play starts, because there's some environments in the Big East, and there's no other way to get experience than to get experience. So fast forward them a little bit. Get some of these young guys that experience, and then hopefully they can mature quickly, because Solomon Ball is a nice player. Stephen Castle is a nice player. They have a lot of these pieces that are still young, but the only way to do it is to do it. So get them a time machine, and hopefully they can expedite that learning curve a little bit. As far as what expectations are concerned, I realize they're not shooting it as well as you would hope, but I also think, Solomon Ball is taking a lot. He was 12 of 43. I think a lot of that has to do with nerves and kind of knowing when and where to get shots up. That's my biggest concern. It's not really a concern, quite frankly, because I think UConn could end up in Phoenix again in the Final Four. But it's move them forward to take them back here, back to the future.
I never imagined a team that would lose as much as they did be as good as they are. I knew they'd be okay. I didn't think they'd be this good. They very well could be back in Phoenix. I don't think any of us would debate that. So having said that, what Santa needs to bring them is remember. See, everybody else don't remember this, but you guys remember. What put them over the hump was Dan Hurley at the Final Four. Andrea came on a 50. Andrea, his wife, came on a field of 68 and told us all his superstitions and everything, and that put them over the hump. So I think if UConn Huskies want to be back-to-back national champions, first team since Florida in 06 and 07 to do so, he needs to have Andrew come back and let us know if he's changed since he's won a championship and all that kind of stuff. Inquiry minds want to know. So Santa wants that. Let's get Andrea back on field of 68.
I don't know if she's going to be allowed back on after she made it. So I don't know if she can visit the city of Providence anymore.
Santa wants it. Santa wants Andrea on top dogs.
Santa's requesting it. Hey, he's superstitious. It happened, and they won the Natty. If they want to win it again, Danny, make it happen. Plus, that crowd, I ain't got to tell you about the crowd. We had a hell of a time with those guys down at the Final Four, so that's another reason to get them back. He can't mess this up, man.
We need a sub. We need a sub. We need Andrea instead of Rob on Top Dog. She can run the whole thing.
Yeah. Like, come on. We need to find out what's really going on behind the scenes at UConn right now. Besides what we don't know. She'll tell us.
Yeah, but look, we had her doing a show 2 years ago on the Field of 68 called Ball is Wife, and it got reckless on that show. That's all I'll say. All right, let's move on to team number 3 on our list. It is the Arizona Wildcats, who heading into the biggest game of the college basketball season to date was the number 1 team in the country. Then they lost to Purdue 92-84. RC, I'll go to you first on this one. What does Arizona need from Santa?
Wow. I think he just needs more consistency out of their guard play. And I think I think the first 3 teams we talked about, I think they're all loaded. And they're 3 teams that I have making it to Phoenix, to be quite honest. So you can't have everything you want. But if I had to say something from Santa with Arizona, it would be probably a little bit more consistency from their backcourt in big games, in the type of games that we play, like the Purdue game and games of that nature. So that's the only thing I would ask for. I think they're loaded. I think the world love them. I think they're right there. Again, you can't have it all.
They play tonight.
T.O.?
We're recording right now. They lost their last game against Purdue. So I'm not sure when we're putting this show out. So you're going to have to update me there. But hey, what they need is team yoga classes, because you can't let this snowball. You got to get your mind right. And we're doing hot yoga, 100 to 180 degrees. Get it right. Make sure you're fully locked in and focused. I'm not asking for mental classes from Joel Fish, who was my clinical psychologist whenever we played at Clemson. We all had to go talk to him. My man Joel, while great, was just he got paid by the coaches to find out secrets about the players, and that's what happened. So let's put it that way. Don't want that. Get them yoga classes. Have them do it together, and then they can all woo-saw their way to a national championship, because I feel like Arizona is plenty capable of doing that.
Yeah, so the thing that I had written down was they need to ask Santa to make sure that they don't see Purdue in the NCAA tournament, because beyond
It's the
Purdue,
only team that can beat them.
Yeah, I think that's the only team really right now that I would say would be favored against them. I think that they have everything that you need. They have multiple playmakers. They have big athletic guards. They have a deep rotation in their perimeter and in their backcourt. They have a 4-man in Kashad Johnson who could do things like score 24 points on the number 1 team in the country. That can do things like guard point guards and centers if you need him to. They have a big guy in Umar Ballo that can do as good of a job as anybody. Look, he held Zach Edey, and I say this, I need to do the air quotes here. He held Zach Edey to 22 points and 9 rebounds, which is about the best that you could probably imagine doing against Zach Edey in a game, especially when Purdue's going to put up 92 points. So, yeah, they just need to avoid Purdue. I think just avoid an angry, pissed off Purdue team that has a point to prove when you get in the NCAA tournament, and they'll probably be fine in my mind. Beyond that, it's just, I think that of all the teams in college basketball this season, and real quick, just tell me if you guys think this is crazy. I think that Arizona is built to be able to make a run in March because of the roster versatility that they have, the lineup versatility, and the multiple playmakers.
I like the schedule that they've made, because I just don't think there's much of a challenge for them in the Pac-12. I think they've lost, 1 game so far. Somebody's going to beat them. But come March, I don't think they'll have more than 3 losses total, and they'll be sitting right there, and they'll make a run. They're just too good. They're damn good,
Yep.
and I'd be shocked that they're not, if they're not in Phoenix.
Them dudes bored.
All right.
I think more than anything too, them dudes bored. I mean, they're what? I'm sitting here looking at Duke now, but I want to say they're 6th in offense, 3rd in defense, and they clean up everything. Good 1 possession defense. They're really good. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. That's not my water bottle. The other water bottle. Thanks.
Hey, to add to that, I'll say this. When your coach is telling everybody I got dogs, like up and down my roster, I got dogs, then not he's a dog. He's like, I got dogs up and down my roster. Like they're just good. I mean, there's no other way to say it. They're damn good.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's move on to team number 4 on our list. It is the Duke Blue Devils. And gentlemen, I'm going to go first on this one, because I think that John Shire needs to be sitting there and hoping to get 2 things for the holiday. 1, he needs to find a way to be able to change NCAA rules, spend a whole bunch of NIL money, and get Derek Lively to leave Dallas Mavericks and come back to school. Because I think what they're missing more than anything else is a 5-man that can be a shot blocking, rim running presence. that can allow Kyle Filipowski to fully embrace this like small ball 4 perimeter player. I'm going to make a bunch of threes. I'm going to make sure that you can't guard me role while having someone that can kind of make up for some of the deficiencies he has on the defensive end of the floor. And number 2, you know how they got that meme where whenever someone makes a great move or makes a big play or does something at the end, they show like an X-ray and it's got a pit bull right where his heart should be, right? You know what I'm talking about? And
Yeah.
they say they got that dog in them. Well, what they need
Yeah.
to do is need to go and get that dog, and they need to put that dog in Tyrese Proctor. Because if Tyrese Proctor isn't going to be the guy that we thought he was going to be, if he's not going to be the All-American, if he's not going to be the guy that can carry this team in the biggest moments of the season, in the biggest games of the season, then I don't think that they're going to be able to reach their ceiling. Shout out to Damon. I could see him back there dancing.
I know he's about to get in trouble and get some coal in his stocking. I can tell you that if he doesn't go on somewhere. I was gonna award him a Stretch Armstrong, Duke, because of all the reasons you just said. Like, can Filipowski grow 6 inches in wingspan just so he can protect the rim a little bit better? That's the only thing really that's holding him back. They're still top 10 in the country in offense. Like, they still have all those options. Mm-hmm. It's just a matter of the defensive end of the floors where they haven't, been able to find ways to shut things down around the rim. I mean, 2-point percentage against Duke's up right around 50%. That's not been the case over the past X amount of years because they've always had that guy down there that can erase shots, whether it's Mark Williams or Lively over the last 2 seasons. Stretch Armstrong, pull those arms out a few inches longer, and then try to have some more protection around the rim.
I think to combat that, they're not going to get it. So let's just hope that they probably press a little bit more. I think they got to extend their defense a little more. But my present to Duke would be they're going nowhere without a healthy Tyrese Proctor now. Let's just get him healthy, get him back. It's just an ankle sprain, but they got a big one coming up here at Baylor, and I don't know if he's playing in that. And if he isn't, that's going to be a tough game. But my present for Duke would be a healthy roster so this group can be playing their best basketball come January, February. So health is needed so these guys can get time off to practice during the Christmas break. They need it more than anybody, I think, to figure out their rotations because they got so many guys.
I do enjoy, RC, how we say things like we need to get the men in black to come here and erase Purdue's memories. And we need to find a way to be able to allow Purdue's players to shave him. And just the simple idea of me and T.O. saying, yeah, they need a little bit more rim protection. You say, no, that's not possible. That's the one thing out of everything we've talked about so far. The one thing that's not possible is Duke finding a way to get some rim protection.
We're not lively trying to make the All NBA rookie team, and there's no rim protection on that roster. So you better start. T.O., when we used to do them drills, you had to run over and take charges and fall. They might.
You can't take charges this year.
You better start taking. Man. Hey, we start sending them cushions. We're gonna send them pillows and stuff in there so they all can fall back and start taking charges. Because that's all you can do.
I must have misdialed and called the fun police because we just completely ruined my Stretch Armstrong, which I thought was a pretty good gift.
Hey, look, you know what?
That's like my kids. That's like my kids right there. Like I'm saying, like, hey, I'm going to take you to Dollywood. This is going to be a lot of fun. And you know what they do? Dollywood. Ridiculous.
Can we just go to Disneyland, Dad?
That's right.
Can we go to the movies?
Can we go to Sweden? Like,
can you just buy a PlayStation for me? I don't want to go to Dolly World.
Unreal.
All right.
Damn life experiences.
Let's stay on Tobacco Road.
I'm trying to help develop core memories over here, not only for my children, but for Duke, and RC's shitting all over it. He's been the Grinch since we started.
I've been the Grinch, man. I'm been the
Grinch. All right. Let's stay on Tobacco Road. Let's head over to Chapel Hill. We're going to North Carolina next. T.O., what does North Carolina need in their stocking on Christmas?
Well, they need more depth, but they'll never get it. So let me reevaluate what I have to do to give gifts away. No, hey, look, I love this North Carolina team. I think they're doing a lot of the same things. Do they have elite rim protection? No, but they do a lot of good things this year. That's been, quite frankly, it's been refreshing to watch because we're finally starting to see what North Carolina was once upon a time. I would even venture to say pre the Cole Anthony era. It's been that long, and it hasn't been easy. And they've had flashes in the pan of being really good. They make the Final Four, and with a really talented roster, they got hot at the right time. What you need to get, I'm trying to think of what like a good gift for Carolina is, but I think this 2-guard small lineup has been beneficial. And I'm going to, you know what I'm going to get them? I'm going to get them potatoes. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put those potatoes in the oven. We're going to play hot potato, because the more that ball moves, the better Carolina has been. So hot potato for Christmas for North Carolina, because they've been good. They've lost their last 2. I get all that, but they've been good because that ball's moving. So continue that trend. Get my friends over there at Chapel Hill the hot potato game, and then they can continue moving the basketball.
Randolph?
I'm gonna get them the hawk hands. You know, when them little hawk hands for Christmas. You ever had that for the kids? You guys ever buy them the big green the hawk hands?
Hulk
That you can like grab stuff with?
The Hawk, when he would hit them and they would say stuff like smash. You guys, first of all, you guys obviously don't watch any Marvel.
First of all, second of all, hold on. You're saying
Hulk.
Hulk. I thought you said Hulk hands.
Don't you say anything with
Hulk. Hulk. Hulk.
Hulk. I didn't know Hulk was spelled H-A-L-K.
Hey, your Southern accent, my DC accent, we'll figure this crap out one way or
We'll
the
other.
We'll get it together. My man Hubert need to come in there with some hawk hands and start smashing. They dropped 2 in a row. They got to have this game. There's no question about it. Come in there, putting them hawk hands on guys. Let's get ready to play. They've been playing much better. No reason for to be down on Carolina at all, but they got to have this one.
So my gift to them was going to be, and Randolph is going to say, you can't make this happen. There's no way this can happen. Well, you know what? Let's get a little imaginative here. All right. We're going to get a little creative. We're going to have a little fun. I think what they need to do is they need to go get the time machine that T.O. had in store for UConn, right? And they need to go get in that time machine, and they need to go back about, let's say about 8 months, right? When Posh Alexander goes and puts his name in the portal. And what they need to do is they need to go to Posh Alexander, and they need to back up the Brinks truck, and they need to tell him, Posh, whatever it's going to cost for you to go from St. John's to Chapel Hill, we're making it happen. You're going to do this. Because what they need is just someone that can be a ball hawk, not a ball Hulk, a ball hawk, someone that can get out there and really guard at the point of attack. Because I think what we saw against Kentucky was just their inability to stop DJ Wagner, Robert Dillingham, guys on the ball, guys at the point of attack, point guards breaking people down off the dribble. To me, that is the biggest concern that I have with North Carolina long term. You guys are right. Everything else is going to figure itself out. They play really good, fun brand of basketball. RJ Davis has been awesome. Armando Bacot's going to be Armando Bacot. They need someone that can go out there and get a stop for them when they need to stop. They need Posh Alexander. They need to go back 8 months ago and go get him out of the portal. I think that is the biggest thing for them.
Hey Rob, let me ask you guys this: how good would Caleb Love be on this Carolina team right now?
That's what they need.
He wouldn't have been. That Caleb Love wouldn't have shown up for this team.
No, but if we playing Santa, if I could take Caleb Love that we've seen this year in Arizona and put him back in Chapel Hill, where is this team now?
They're
now y'all want to get righteous. That can't happen. Oh no, that can't happen. There's no way. Oh, now we can't get imaginable. You know what? Y'all gonna make me start drinking. I gotta start drinking.
All right.
Somebody get an eggnog. Somebody get an RC eggnog.
Give me the spike one.
Give me the.
Oh man. All right, moving on. Illinois is the next team that we are going to be breaking down. RC, what does Daddy Brad need from Santa Claus on Christmas morning?
I think he needs another dude besides Terrence Shannon. I wish I could just give him another guy that he can consistently count on besides Terrence Shannon. I just think they need one more guy. I would like a guard. You can pull one out of a hat. Just saying, a guy that's a little bit more dynamic with the ball in his hands. Maybe with Sky Clark or somebody like that would have been. I would like to have added a guy like that for Illinois. Then I think their ceiling would be so much higher than it is now.
I was going to say, you mean like a Sky Clark? You mean like a Jay
Yeah,
Nips?
yeah.
No,
Yeah.
maybe if they weren't outbid for Ray J. Dennis by Baylor, something like that. Would that be one of the guys that you'd be looking for? Maybe
Like one
some
of them
kind of a
guys,
point guard on that roster. But T.O., are you telling me that Ty Rodgers isn't a star point guard for a team that can pick a
Yeah, I
Final
thought he
Four?
was. I,
No.
I thought he was an undersized 4 for a long time. We were watching him play. I really did. We were Pete's Jam. I was like, man, this guy's a hell of a 3-4, small ball 4. Like, he's going to be awesome. Man. He's playing the point for Illinois. I'm going to get him some prescription eyeglasses. And the only reason is Terrence Shannon shooting 41%, Luke Good shooting 46%. Outside of those two guys, Gibbs Lawhorn, 3 of 17 on the year. Marcus Domask had that great game at MSG. He's shooting 23% on the season. Coleman Hawkins, 7 of 30, 23%. Quincy Guerrier, 23%. I don't know what it is about the number 23 in the Illinois team, but it's prevalent. It's prevalent. They got to have more guys hit shots. And they have two guys that can knock them through, and they're going to defend under Brad. And they're still managing, even with outside of those two guys hitting shots. You just got to be serviceable, in the mid 30s. They haven't been able to be that, and they're still 8-2. If they shoot it a little bit better, they beat Tennessee. They're closer to Marquette. Outside of that, I'm not going to complain too much. I like this Illinois team. There's talent. I was worried about point guard play. They've eased my mind there. I mean, they're a top 30 offense and a top 15 defense. But if they shoot the ball better, they get to set their defense. And if they're able to set their defense, they're really tough to score on. So get into my glasses, especially for the two guys not named Terrence Shannon and Luke Good.
Yeah, I think since giving them one of those 3 point guards we mentioned earlier is not something that is realistic, or as RC would say, it's not something that's going to be possible right now. I do think that the key to them is getting a level of consistency from Marcus Domask that we have not seen yet. Right? They don't need him to be the guy that goes for 33 on 15 to 21 shooting every single night, but they do need him to be like a 15 to 17 point per game guy, and we've seen him do that enough times this year for me to sit here and say, okay, yeah, I think that's something that is repeatable. Because if you don't have a point guard, basically what Illinois wants to do is kind of win a lot of these matchups playing one-on-one and hoping that that's going to be enough for you. And if you only have one guy that can do that, or is doing it consistently, that kind of limits what I think your ceiling is. So they need a second guy. And I think that Marcus Domask is that guy if he can find a level of consistency so that, the 6 points he had against Tennessee and the 33 that he had against Florida Atlantic, just find like the happy medium there. Give me like 14 points every single night on like 6 of 12 shooting. That's all you need to do. Just do that. And I think Illinois is going to end up being pretty good this year. Next up, we're hopping aboard the Muss bus. Randolph, the Arkansas Razorbacks. What is Muss asking for Christmas from Santa other than, a shirt to put on, because that man never, ever wins a game and keeps his shirt on?
I was going to say he start stripping. No, you know what? For Muss, I think for him, his patience would be one. But I'd say straws, man. You got to pick straws with this group and get a pecking order. Like, who's doing what, when? Who am I relying on to be more consistent right now? It just looks like they're still trying to figure it out, and that's normal when you got this many transfers. But I would like to see them just have a little bit of order in. And I know I'm talking about more for the players of saying, like, who's going to step up? I expect this out of you to do this. I know Muss is waiting on some level of consistency with these guys, and he always figures it out. I always think they start a little slow and pick it up late, and I expect that to start here pretty soon with these guys.
T.O.?
What you got, Rob? I'm curious what you got.
Well, I was going to say what he needs to do is he needs to go out and he needs to buy a calendar, right? And he needs to get a calendar, and he needs to put that calendar in every single room in the Arkansas basketball facilities. He needs to take a calendar that says that it's February, and he needs to put that up in every single dorm room and every single apartment for every single player on this roster. And he needs to find a way to convince his team that it already is February, right? That it's not December 24th, that it's not the end of the end of non-conference play, that we're not sitting here in early January, right? He needs to get past the doldrums that we always see out of Arkansas in the dead of winter, right? And he needs to get to the point where his players are playing the way that they do as we head into the NCAA tournament every single year. They made the Sweet 16 last year as an 8 seed when they looked like crap until about late February. The year before that, they made the Elite Eight when they looked like crap in December and January. The year before that, they made the Elite Eight when they lost 5 out of 6, including I think it was like 3 bye games in December. He needs to
Yeah.
find a way to figure out what his team is doing now instead of waiting all the way until February. That's all he needs to do. Convince these guys that it's late February. Just say, like, look, we figured this out. You're good to go. Now you can play like a team that's ready to make a run late in the season earlier in the year. It's brilliant. It's genius. I think that that's all you need to do, T.O. Is that crazy?
Yeah, you could push it forward, but I kind of I think we need to get him a listing, some kind of a list thing. I like the idea of a calendar, but I also like a few pages with listing, like a 1 through 10, because he's got 10 guys that are all playing comparable minutes outside of Jalen Graham. But like, you got to figure out who you're going to play with consistency, and that always takes much time because every year he has a new roster. It might as well be a JUCO there, and I mean that in a complimentary manner because he's been able to do that and make the Elite Eight each of the past 3 seasons. So, you of course you want to rush the process and get to February because that's when he figures it out. But I think finding his pecking order, who his dudes are going to be on a night in and night out basis, that's kind of where Arkansas needs to go right now.
All right, let's stay in the Midwest. Let's head to one of the 2 blue bloods that we have left on this list, the Kansas Jayhawks. Feels like Bill Self has everything that he could ever want at all times as the head coach at Kansas. But what is he asking for right now, RC?
I like Bill a lot. So for Christmas, I would like to give Bill Self Randolph Childress 25 years ago to slide into this roster to knock down some jumpers for him. That's what I'd give him. That'd be my present to them. Just somebody that can make some jumpers. You got everybody else do everything. McCullough, yeah, you got defense. Jawan, yeah, you guys stay there and play defense. Just let me come down here. I'll knock down a couple jumpers for you. I got 5 fouls. Just let me come back. Let me come back and play a little bit. I'll change my jersey number and all that kind of stuff. Knock down some jumpers for you. So I do that for Bill. I like Bill. So I want to come back and play for Bill.
If you just shaved the beard, you might look like you're still one of these 28-year-olds that has a couple years of eligibility left.
I want some NIL money too. That's why I want to come back to. I want to get some NIL money.
Oh, that's what it is. That's what you're looking for.
When's our class action situation going to start, RC? That's my big question.
Yeah, I don't know, man. We've got to put that in there. We got to start that.
We need to start something because I got gypped. I haven't got anything out of that. And I had a pretty good 2 years. And I probably would have never left. Let's be honest. You know what I'm getting them? I'm purchasing a hype man just for a couple of days. You know who that hype man is going to be? It's going to be DJ Khaled. They already had a bad situation sending Snoop Dogg that way. I'm bringing a positive influence, sending him to Kansas. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to have DJ Khaled follow Nicholas Timberlake around campus. Be like, you're the best. You're the best. And just keep firing him up because confidence-wise, my man's struggling. We've seen Nicholas Timberlake and how good he can be at Towson, and he just hasn't been able to be that guy. We need him to get his confidence back. What better way to bring DJ Khaled and just stare at him and just tell him how great he is for a solid week? That'll do it. You're the best. You're the best. Every time he eats, that's the best bite I've ever seen. Like little stuff like that just to get Nick Timberlake going because I think he could be that guy.
Look, I was going to say you got to get Nick Timberlake a little bit of confidence. There's no way I'm going to top that.
You got a better chance of me coming back and getting new knees in the back and playing and eligibility than figuring that out. If Bill ain't played him by now, he ain't playing him.
Yeah, I think that's kind of where we're at too. The big thing that I mean, look, it's shooting at the 2-guard spot, right? I think everybody knows that. It's not a secret at this point. We know that they got 4 guys that are absolute killers and one spot that they haven't really quite figured out at this point yet. I will just say, think about the alternate reality where UConn lands Nick Timberlake and Bill Self is sitting here in, what was that, like late May, early June, trying to figure out what he's going to do with the 2 spot, and Cam Spencer hits the portal. Just imagine what Kansas would look like right now if it was Cam Spencer that was in there next to DeJuan Harris and Kevin McCullough. Are they losing the game? Is that team going undefeated?
They ain't losing many.
Not many.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to this is going to be an interesting one. I think we can have some fun with this one. The Michigan Wolverines. And if you want me to go first, I can go first on this one because I think there are a couple things that they need. But my biggest thing is like, we just need some counseling there. We need some anger management classes there. We need someone to step in and just kind of be like, you know how like you go through a rough patch of your marriage and you go to a marriage counselor, right? We need a culture counselor. We need someone to walk into this practice facility and get everybody on the same page and be able to just say like, woosah, we're all in this together. We can all win this thing. We can all find a way to get along, right? We can all find a way to be friends. We're all fighting for the same goal. We all want to make the NCAA tournament. I know that last year we had 2 first-round picks and we had Hunter Dickinson and we still finished 17-14 and we're headed to the NIT, right? I understand all that. But you know what? This year we got a guy named Doug McDaniel. And this year we got a guy named Terrence Reed. And this year Juwan Howard is back from his heart surgery and he's thankful for where he is in life now. And he's thankful that he's getting this second chance to continue coaching and to be able to coach his son, Jace Howard, who was on this team. And we need to find a way to just bring everyone together and get along because there's enough talent on this team to be really good. And I don't care what anybody says. I know I called them the second best team in the Big Ten earlier this year, and that looks like one of the dumbest things I've ever said in my life, and I've said a lot of dumb things. But I think if we just got a culture counselor in there and got everybody happy and on the same page, they'd have a chance to win some games. So that's all we need. That's all we need there, T.O.
I already know what I'm getting, Michigan. The whole athletic department, they're just getting a whole sack full of coal. That's all they're getting is coal. That place has not been stellar over the past year. Coal, coal, coal. That's all they get.
I want to give Juwan Howard and his Michigan Wolverines basketball program some of that football NIL money. So if they get a percentage of that football NIL money, then hell, they'll be able to keep some damn players there. Hunter Dickinson wouldn't be in Kansas. He kept him there. Give my man some NIL money.
Hey, Michigan ain't Wake Forest. There's NIL money up there now.
No, it ain't enough.
They can complain all they want. They can complain. Hey, everybody's complaining they don't have as much as Kansas. Everybody. I don't.
You know what the biggest issue is? It's not the NIL money. You know what they need there? You know what they need? They need the Kansas admissions department when it comes to academics. They need the school to look at some of the players that are coming into the pro football program, some of the players coming into the basketball program. Because just imagine, and I'm just going to throw this out there, if this Michigan roster had Caleb Love and maybe Terrence Shannon on it, wouldn't that be pretty good? You think if you had Caleb Love and Terrence Shannon,
this Michigan roster, if they had Coach Beeline coaching it, they would be much better.
No.
Yes, RC, no doubt. There is zero question about that. No. Zero. Come on, man. Yep.
But I'll say this. So many of those guys. It's amazing that so many schools in general, not just Michigan, though, are screwing up that admission deal. Like, that's crazy to me. It's like how many programs and how that's flipping.
Yeah.
Come on,
T.O.
The only success he's had has been with Beeline's players.
Yeah, I was gonna say I heard that. I heard you sneak that in there. We heard that.
Well, if he had more NIL money, he can keep his own.
Yeah, well, if a queen had balls, she'd be the king.
Well, okay. You never know now. We're in 2023.
Touche.
Right. So moving on to team number 10 on this list. We are going down to the great state of Alabama, and we're going to go pay a visit to Bruce Pearl and the Auburn Tigers, who will be wishing for the holidays. They will be asking for. I'm going to go first on this one, guys, because I think I got the best one that you could ask for here. What we need is we need to take KD Johnson, right? KD Johnson, what do you call him, T.O.? Nightmare fuel, right? Yeah, we need to take KD Johnson. He runs on nightmare fuel. We need to take KD Johnson, who's about 6'6'1", 190 pounds, tough, physical, strong, looks like a running back. And we need to take all of those physical components that you have in KD Johnson, and we need to put that in the skill set of Aiden Holloway. And if you take KD Johnson and everything that he could do from a mindset, being crazy, from a defensive standpoint, from all of the stuff that he does in that aspect, and then give him the ability to shoot from like 38 feet, the ability to hit step backs, the passing ability, the offensive skill that you have with Aiden Holloway, and just put those two players together, and then all of a sudden you have probably the best point guard in America. And then once you have that player, I don't think there is a more perfect Bruce Pearl player than the defensive stuff from KD Johnson and the offensive stuff from Aiden Holloway. That's what you need. I don't know if that's possible. RC, you're the one that can tell us whether or not these gifts are something that are actually physically possible to do. So I don't know if we could just mold those two players together, if it's possible or not, but that's what I'd be giving Bruce Pearl for Hanukkah. We got to give Bruce Pearl stuff for Hanukkah.
Yeah, I was about to say, happy Hanukkah. Hanukkah's already passed, but happy Hanukkah to Bruce
Mhm.
Pearl and his family.
Belated Hanukkah presents.
Bruce
Belated
Pearl, that's the
Hanukkah
way he
present.
like his dudes. Bruce Pearl always want a guy like that. He want to coach a guy like that. So it's I think he's okay with it. He'll be all right.
What do you got? What are you giving him, Marcy?
Oh, I want to give him a dynamic wing. I think this team is probably the surprise team from where they've been picked in the SEC. I think if you give them a consistent dynamic wing, if I could give them some, we talked about Johnson, but we can get them some production, consistent production from a wing on that team. I think the point guard play is legit. We know Aiden Holloway is big time. Inside, they're fine. I just wish we had a wing, consistent wing play for him, and I like this team a lot. I think he gets it done. So if Santa could give them, hypothetically, I can't pick a player to say just to take from one roster. I don't know if we're going to go that far as to do that. I don't want to offend anybody in that aspect, but if we can get some dynamic wing play, I'd like Auburn's team a lot.
Kind of like an Alan Flanagan.
That's exactly what I was going to say. They could use Alan Flanagan right now.
Alan Flanagan's been awesome. No, I'm with RC. I would get him another wing. I know that's not the most creative thing, but guys, they're defending. They're doing what Auburn does. Huh?
No, I'm saying you're right. They're doing all the other stuff.
Yeah, they're defending their ass off. They're sharing the basketball. We know that they play really well on the open floor. Are they going to be able to score in the half court? And sometimes you need that big dynamic wing in order to get some of those things to happen. We know that their guard play is exceptional. And I think Aiden Holloway is going to be able to find shots wherever and whenever he's on the floor. It's just a matter of who's going to be able to create some shots if that option's taken away. I don't think it will be, but it's just interesting to see whenever you go into the tournament or you play some of these SEC games, there's some really big bodies guarding Aiden Holloway. I'm not saying he's going to have trouble with them, but I am going to say that they're going to need another option out there. I'm not saying they don't have it either. That's kind of where I'm at with Auburn. I really like this team. I like the way Bruce coaches. I think he's an underrated X's and O's guy. And but if you could pick one thing, I would assume it would be kind of a playmaking wing or a shot creating wing.
Yeah. Bruce Pearl, underrated X's and O's guy. Also a very underrated let him cook guy. Because when his guys are hot, I don't think anyone in the country lets him cook more than Bruce Pearl lets him cook. Speaking of letting him cook, Scott Drew's team let Michigan State cook them over the weekend. They lost by 24 to a Michigan State team that we were ready to call off and send to the NIT. So we are going to give Baylor a Christmas present. T.O., if you had to give Scott Drew and the Baylor Bears something for Christmas, what would it be?
I'm going to get them a fence for their Baylor house. And it's going to be a defense because there isn't much. Even though they are 9-1, they're almost 70th in the country in defense. So I'm going to get them defense that should surround their arena in Waco. That's the only thing I got there. They need to play a little bit better defense. Michigan State was a weird one. I'm sure it threw their numbers off, whatever. But this is a really good Baylor team. So they're going to have to guard a little more to reach the heights that they think they can get to. So I'm just going to get them a white picket fence, not the offensive play, an actual fence that people hold up when they're screaming defense. That's what I'm getting.
Hey, T.O., I'm going to steal your one. This was the one I was saving the time machine for because I was going to say to you guys, if they can get – I love this story and I love what he's come back from. But if they can get the Jonathan Chomachachua from a couple of years ago,
yes,
before the injury, and you let him be at the back end of your defense, I think that's the biggest gift I think I would love to give this Baylor team.
Yeah, get him a new knee, man. I think that's literally what I have written down as a new knee for Jonathan Chomachachua.
Really? That's funny. We're all saying essentially the same thing.
Yeah, just someone that can be a rim running 5-man, that can block shots at the rim, that can be a switchable defender, who, by the way, has figured out how to knock down threes in the time off that he's had as he rehabbed that knee injury. But yeah, that's what they need. They just need someone. Or the other option is just take Yves Macy and get him take him to go fast forward to his junior year, take him, bring him back, and have that Yves Macy here. I think that's the big thing that they need at this point. Yeah, they just got to guard. We're all on the same page with that one. Last team that we're going through, the last blue blood that we have to talk about, the Kentucky Wildcats. Whew, we can have some fun with this one, boys. I'm going to you first, RC. What are you getting, John Calipari and the Kentucky Wildcats? A man that probably has everything. He certainly has the biggest contract in college basketball that we've seen right now. What are you getting him for Christmas?
You know what? I struggle with this one because I want to give him experience and just give him time. Like my thing is give time, and I don't know if that's necessarily a gift. I love this team. I think they got some dynamic play in their backcourt. I think Rob Dillingham is the real deal. I think he just has a gift with the ball, some wiggle with him that just a lot of guards don't have with his extra speed. Their bigs, their front lines getting healthy. I don't think they need anything but just time, just to block out the noise, to practice and play together. And I think this team has a chance to take a step that we've separated themselves. When we talk about a couple of teams, we're like Purdue, we're like Arizona, we like Yukon and Marquette's right there, and Kansas right there. I think this is the team that we can feel like when they're healthy and at their best that belong in that upper echelon.
Did he get a thumbs up right there? Did he get a thumbs up?
That's
That's
awesome.
Thumbs up. Okay.
Where'd that come from? I don't even want to know where it came from.
Hey, they got their 7-footers back, at least 2 of them out of 3. And I'm going to sprinkle some magic fairy dust so they can get their 3rd one. Because I think, Zvonimir Ivisic is a really good player. He is a really good player. And some of the things, I'm not sure if he's hurt. I'm not sure if he's still not eligible. What's the deal there, Rob? Help me out here.
I think it's more the latter than the former is my understanding.
So not eligible. That's what you're telling me.
That's what I believe is the case.
Come on, guys. He goes to Kentucky.
Everybody's getting eligible. What are we doing?
Yeah, what are we doing? Play the kid. Like, hey, look, Kentucky's Kentucky. Kentucky's not Harvard. Like, it's a fine school. It's not an Ivy League school. Let my man play. And he's not going to be there for more than a year anyway.
Academic institution.
No,
come on, man. Have some respect for Kentucky.
No, it's not.
I will tell you this.
No, it's not.
Kentucky would have found a way to get Caleb Love in.
Hey,
they would have.
Ask Steve Forbes. Steve Forbes will tell you Kentucky's a high academic institution. He said
that. Hey, Kentucky, I tell you what, it's got the best cow milking major in the country. Or horse production. Like, that's it. That's it. No, hey, all jokes aside, Kentucky's a fine institution. I'm not going to make fun of the institution. But let the kid play. He's not going to be there for 4 years anyway. He's never going to come back. So, like, what's the deal? Let him play. He's talented. He's tall. He's a rim protector, and he's got game. Add him in there. I don't know how you guard Kentucky. And quite frankly, I think their defensive metrics haven't been great. The additions of Onyesu and Aaron Bradshaw have already jumped those numbers better. And I think Ivisic, you throw him in there too, a guy who can space the floor, knock down shots. Yeah, I'm telling you, this guy's really talented. Just let the kid play. Sprinkle some magic fairy dust. Do what you can to have him playing basketball come the springtime, because he's not going to be there past May.
Yeah, we started with sprinkling crack. Now we're sprinkling magic fairy dust. We're sprinkling everything here in this episode.
They're one and the same.
I think the biggest gift I think the biggest gift that they got was getting Aaron Bradshaw back and healthy and playing the way that he is, because I think that his addition has been incredibly important for like the defensive floor. We've talked quite a bit about that on this channel and on this network. I think that getting Justin Edwards to the point where he is playing like the guy that was projected as the best freshman in this group coming in is something that would be really important and help them find a way to get to their ceiling a little bit. But considering everyone that is coming back, here's who I think that they need for Christmas. Give them John Beilein. Give them someone that understands what pace and space and 5-out offense looks like, that understands how to take advantage of a bunch of guys that can shoot and a bunch of playmakers off the dribble. Because the one thing that terrifies me still, and I know that Cal has been saying that, no, we're going to keep running, we're going to keep playing the way that we play. Doesn't matter who we get. Doesn't matter if we have 5-7 footers. We're going to play the way we play. I kind of keep thinking that they're going to end up going back to this too big post up kind of situation. So get John Beilein in there just to make me feel.
Didn't Goodman give him that last year? Goodman gave him that. He gave him John Beilein last year.
I think it was because he didn't think that Cal knew how to coach.
Is that what he said?
I don't know. I wasn't on that show last year, and I do the best that I can to be able to ignore every single thing that comes out of Jeff Goodman's mouth, because it
sounds like great minds think alike. You and Jeff, man, 2 peas in a pod. I'll tell you what.
They attached at the hip, man. They're like brothers.
Unreal.
No,
These two guys just love
it's
it.
like
Just
grandfather and
love
grandson at this point, man. Come on, like this brothers. He's
Hey, all
25 years
jokes.
old.
Hey, I love this. Hey, all jokes aside, I love this Kentucky team, man. They are really good. They're
Mhm.
Final Four contenders, and I mean that in the highest regard. I'm not just throwing it out there. Those guys are good. They're talented, and whenever you have Dillingham coming off the bench, Reed Shepherd coming off the bench, if you're able to get a Visich back in, he'll come off the bench for a few games, and who knows what the hell they're going to do there. Gosh, that team has dudes. Kentucky's really, really
Mhm.
good. And if they can get that one more guy eligible, not only do you get a guy who's 7'2", 234, that's what he's listed at on their website, you're getting a guy who can play. So, like, you open up your offense while not losing any of that size if he's able to play. And they go from Final Four contenders without him to legit national championship contenders with him because they have all the size you'll ever need. Even if they play Zach Edey, they got 15 fouls on him.
Mhm.
Like nobody else
Yeah.
has 15 fouls. At most, they've played against guys that have 10. They have 15 fouls against Zach Edey, and all three of those guys are good.
Yep. Well, listen, this has been the Christmas Eve Spectacular. We have handed out wish lists and gifts for 12 of the biggest programs and 12 of the best teams in college basketball. We hope everybody that is listening to this and tuning in has a wonderful, wonderful holiday. Enjoy the time off. Enjoy the time with your family. Enjoy a little bit of extra eggnog. Enjoy waking up Christmas morning with your family, being able to celebrate with the people that you love. So from us at the Field of 68 to you, Merry Christmas. Happy holidays, and see you guys again in the new year.